I want to explain to you how to ship fragile items this year and how do you actually minimize breakage during fulfillment, okay? So here are the trends I want you to pay attention to. The thing is, when you are thinking about shipping fragile items, whether you are an e-commerce entrepreneur or you just a regular person like you and me, basically you have to really understand that there are certain rules to actually follow, okay? Businesses now routinely ship heavy and large products like mattresses, furniture, and exercise equipment to their customers. So you will not be the first person to actually ship something fragile through the global supply chain. Okay, but the cool thing is, if you have the right process in place, you can actually avoid all kinds of losses, all kinds of problems from authorities also because there are certain conditions to follow. There are certain restrictions to actually abide by. And I'll explain everything to you like real clearly into this conversation. Now, which products are most likely to be damaged during shipping? Let's have a conversation about that. Now, the thing is, almost any product, and I want to insist on that, almost any product can be damaged in shipping, right? Because things go through stuff. I mean, you have a whole process, and even items that are not fragile can be chipped, scratched, or torn if they're not packed and shipped correctly. However, some products require special handling. I mean, that's just logical. So, into this conversation, I want to explain to you how to ship glass, for instance, and other fragile items that actually range from breakables like ceramics and glassware to electronic devices to even musical instruments, okay? Now, different types of fragile products require different protections during shipping. I mean, especially if the value of the item you are shipping is kind of high. And it's because see, the whole thing is that it's all about your expectations, but also about the recipient's expectation. Let me give you an example. Some electronic devices could be damaged by excessive shaking, even if the box is intact. So if the recipient is expecting something stellar, something excellent, and you do not really ship properly, you could have a problem. Breakable products are most likely to be damaged by a direct impact, such as falling from a height or having another package dropped on top of them, okay? Breakage and damage can actually eat up in your profits, can eat up your profits if you are an e-commerce store or if you are just a brick and mortar store also. Now, there are ways to actually to prevent that. So I'll show you how to ship fragile items properly. Why should you care about fulfilling? I mean, why should you really care about making sure that your fragile items are fulfilled properly? First of all, you have returns. I mean, broken products cost a lot of money, and much more money for e-commerce brands than brick and mortar retail. So there are a lot of reasons. Okay, returns, for example. When working to resolve a damaged shipment complaint from a customer, at a minimum, you will have to pay for the reshipment of an undamaged item. And if you have more specific requirements for returns, such as requiring a shipment back of the damaged item so you can inspect it, someone will have to pay for that return label. And I can guarantee you, the customer is not willing to pay for that because, first of all, they're already pissed that there's a problem with their shipment. So you do not want them to actually pay for stuff, okay? If your shipping policy states that you offer free returns, then that's an additional cost for you. If your customer has to pay for it, this will likely anger them even more, right? They'll be really pissed big time. So in this scenario, not only did they get a damaged product and now have to wait longer for a new one, but they also have to go to USPS or a carrier store and pay the shipping cost. So be prepared for some backlash, big time, big time. You also have lost business. So not every customer is willing to wait for a new product. Some customers will simply ask for a refund and likely will not purchase again from your brand. So not only did you lose the sale from the customer you probably had to pay to acquire, but you also lost on their future business because now they think you can't deliver products undamaged, okay? And that's really bad. You also have bad reviews. I mean, that's really big time. I mean, they'll just write bad reviews about you. Not every the thing is, bad customer reviews can make or break your business a success. So when a customer is excited for the product to arrive but opens the box to find a broken item, they may leave a negative review, even if you cover all costs for them and send out a new item. Okay, this can be devastating in e-commerce, but also in offline commerce. So a free product or a discount on their next order can go a long way if you make it right. Don't be afraid to ask them to edit their review, and they will. If they're happy afterwards, they will edit their reviews to actually give you a more contextualized to provide more contextualized feedback. So let me talk to you about the best practices for shipping fragile items. So the thing is, before you ship a product that could get broken or damaged in transit, you want to think through your shipping process and materials. So let me give you a few tips for shipping your fragile products to their destinations safely. First thing first, let's go back to shipping 101, the box. Do not skimp on the box, okay? The packaging you choose for shipping fragile items is quintessential. I can never overemphasize this, okay? You want to really think about the packaging. Now, here's what you need to think about when you choose a box. Make sure the outer cardboard box is thick enough to protect the item. You might want to choose a heavy box, even if your product is light and doesn't otherwise need such a sturdy box. So consider this as an extra layer of protection, right? You need to have that extra layer of protection. Choose the right box for your product. I mean, every product is different, and you know your product better than anybody else. So the correct box size will be slightly larger than the item you are shipping. Leave just enough room for a layer of protective infill. You do not want your fragile item to move around inside the box during shipping, right? And also, and this is really important, consider double boxing. This is particularly important for fragile items that are also high value, right? If you're selling a very expensive item, an inner box packed tightly will infill inside an outer box with another layer of infill adds protection against impact, movement, and shaking. Okay, so choose a box that's only slightly larger than the item. That's really the takeaway here. Okay, you don't want to use boxes that have too much space in them though, causing the content to shift around. Use a slightly bigger box than the product allows any remaining empty space to be filled with dunnage to keep everything in place. So while poly mailers can be cheaper to ship than boxes, they are not a good option for fragile, breakable products as they can be smashed easily. While poly bags come with a bubble wrap padding, these do not eliminate the breakage of fragile items. Next, you want to choose the right infill for fragile item shipping, okay? So if you think about shipping fragile items, you want to think about infill big time. Now, infill is a pretty interesting material. So think about infill as the material inside the box that provides cushioning and keeps your fragile item from moving during shipping. So for more delicate items, you will need more protective infill. So the first packing materials that come to mind might be packing peanuts, right? But shredded cardboard or craft paper infill is more environmentally eco-friendly choice, though it may not provide enough protection for shipping fragile items, particularly if they are heavy. I mean, weight will really play an important role here, so you have to see what works for your specific situation. And so air pockets are a good grain infill choice for breakable items because they do a lot of stuff. For instance, they protect against impact and movement, and air pockets also reduce waste since the infill is mostly air. So think about wrapping the item in cushioning material. If your products are not manufactured with supportive packaging and not stored and are really stored loose, in other words, you have a glass makeup tube to ship with no small box around it, then you will need to wrap them in a lot of dunnage, okay? Dunnage is really the key word here. Let me give you another hack. For hollow products, such as a vase or a mug, put infill inside the item as well as outside. The key here is what? You want not to leave any empty space inside your package, right? It's one of those things where you have to look at the the convenience, but also the weight. You want to ship this in a very streamlined manner. So for high value breakables, molded infill that snugly fits the product is a good investment. Molded infill can be made from cardboard, plastic, or styrofoam. If you are shipping to a more fragile pieces in the same box and you don't have molded infill, wrap each one in a protective layer of bubble wrap or another sturdy infill. Make sure, this is an important element, make sure your box is tightly packed so the items cannot shift during shipping. This will protect them from scratching or even breaking each other, and you do not want to have that. Next, you want to seal the box securely. So if you are thinking about shipping fragile items, you got to really look at sealing. Sealing is really is such a big thing because sealing will actually will protect the integrity of the package, but also protect the integrity of the shipment itself, the whole shipments. Okay, so use a sturdy packing tape and seal your box well. And this is actually a best practice for shipping any type of products, not just breakables, but also non-breakables. But it is particularly important with breakable items. Okay, so if you're, what happens here is that you have all kinds of hazards if your fragile product falls out of the box. Think about it. Can you imagine that? If your fragile products falls out of the box, the chances that it will become a damaged item go way up, right? Because if you think about the global supply chain or the domestic supply chain, your item is not the only one being shipped, and delivery staff is really busy with actually doing a lot of stuff, so they're not going to focus on your item. Okay, now if necessary, you want to encase the item in foam. So for very expensive or fragile items, you may want to make a foam enclosure for the package that is molded to its specific measurements. Again, that depends on the value, the monetary value of the item being shipped. And this is obviously not a very scalable solution, especially if you are, if you are thinking about long term. You can also use air pillows or packing peanuts. Okay, so if there is empty space in the box, be sure to fill the space with airbags, packing peanuts, or crinkle paper. So those two will help you big time in terms of making sure you're not creating empty space. Okay, and that's what you want. You want to avoid empty space, because the empty space is going to increase chances of your breakable actually becoming broken, really, and that's not what you want. I mean, the whole conversation here is about avoiding that specific scenario. Okay, so that's important. So one thing I want to say here is that do not skimp on the box. Very important. Choose the right infill for fragile items, and also seal the box securely. Okay, and you also, and that's the next hack. You want to make sure that the shipping boxes are actually properly labeled. So talking about labeling, let me repeat. You want to make sure the shipping boxes are properly labeled, and you want to add fragile stickers for shipping. That way you are informing directly or indirectly the staff to know how to handle your particular item. Okay, that's important from a scalability point of view, so you have a clear idea what really works or what doesn't work. So you want to follow the labeling. You want to follow the labeling guidelines for fragile items that need extra care from the carrier you ship with, whether it is a USPS, UPS, FedEx, or DHL. You want to include a fragile sticker or handle with car sticker on more than one surface of the outer box. If the item needs to be kept upright, include a "this way up" shipping label with an arrow. So you can add a fragile label to the box, and you can also affix a tilt or impact detector. So these devices are typically used for shipments that need to remain upright and require very delicate handling. So while they are rare for parcel shipments and are very expensive, they not only let you know when a fragile item may have been damaged, but also encourage the handlers to be extra careful. So that's kind of cool. Let me give you a few extras here. So Basically, does it actually cost more to ship fragile items? Basically, yes. Fragile items do cost more to pack. You will need to invest more in your packaging and infill. Properly packing and shipping a ceramic teapot, for instance, will cost more than shipping a basketball that's similar in size and weight. You may also want to pay for extra insurance, special handling, or air rather than ground shipping. However, not packing and shipping breakable products correctly can cost your business even more. Every broken item is a business loss. If the product arrives damaged, you will have to pay for return shipping, and your customer will be disappointed, right? So the cost there is way higher than anything else. So those are things you need to think about. There are ways to actually offset higher packing and shipping costs for breakables. You can raise the prices of your products to cover the cost, or you can turn to your e-commerce fulfillment company for help. Your 3PL is probably a volume shipper and may be able to help you get reduced shipping rates to offset the extra packing cost. So let me talk to you quickly about shipping fragile items with the major carriers. So each of the major US carriers accepts fragile items for shipping. So when you think about USPS, UPS, and FedEx, here is what to expect. How do you ship fragile items with USPS? Well, USPS offers a special handling fragile service to ship a fragile package or multiple fragile packages. There is an extra fee for each special handling fragile package, currently about $11 to $12. So in addition to postage, you must go in person in the post office to purchase this. You can add special handling to this USPS services: Priority Mail Express, Priority Mail, First Class Package Service Commercial, First Class Mail, USPS Retail Ground, Parcel Select, Bound Printed Matter, Library Mail, and Media Mail. What about shipping fragile items with UPS? If you don't ship many fragile items, you can have the UPS store pack your box for you. When UPS handles packing and shipping using its own materials, your package comes with a guarantee to reimburse you for the cost of the item if it's damaged in transit. UPS doesn't charge extra for handling fragile items. If your business ships a lot of products that need extra protection, your order fulfillment warehouse can help you safely pack and ship fragile items with UPS. What about FedEx? Well, like UPS, FedEx doesn't have a special service for fragile items, though it does offer packing tips. Once again, your 3PL services company can help you arrange for secure delivery of fragile items with FedEx. Also, think about shipping insurance. So while packaging fragile items correctly will reduce the risk that they break or get damaged, it is still prudent to purchase shipping insurance for all fragile and expensive items. There are shipping from the top 3 carriers. But bottom line is your 3PL company can help you deliver actually things in a more streamlined manner. In other words, you are outsourcing part of the packaging to a third party, okay? Because those companies specialize in shipping specific types of products. So a company that ships mostly clothing may not be the best partner to ensure that your fragile products reach your customers in one piece, right? So you want to have a 3PL partner that actually has experience with this kind of work, whether it is fragile items or even expensive items. In closing, in today's conversation, I spoke to you about how to ship fragile items. I give you the trains, the extras, and finally, the closing. Thank you so much. God bless you. I'll see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.